Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to show you guys some fragrances that I'm going to be parting ways with, and I don't want to ramble on too long, so let's jump right into this video. The first fragrance on this list is this fragrance right here. It's coming out of the house of Swiss Arabian, and this one is called Inaura Food. I purchased this one on fragrancex.com a couple of months ago. I was going through all the Swiss Arabian fragrances, and for whatever reason my eyes just fixated on this one. So of course my next move was to go over onto Fragrantica. I don't remember if there were any comments. I think there were no comments, so I really relied on the notes that I saw. The notes here are very beautiful sounding. We have a lot of beautiful fruits. I believe we have raspberry, I believe we have lychee, we have some flowers in here, and of course we have oud. You could look at the notes all you want, but if you don't know what the undertone is to a fragrance, you really know nothing. The notes are not going to tell you the full story, and I had to learn the hard way with this fragrance. I can smell the fruits here. They're sweet. It smells like red fruits. I get the oud, which is very strong, a little bit alcoholic if you ask me, but I think the undertone of the fragrance is really what is very, very off-putting here. I could never wear this fragrance and really feel good or think I smell good, so I definitely have to get rid of this one. On the upside, it does perform very well. It projects like crazy, and it does last a very long time. So if this is your type of fragrance, you're definitely going to be happy with that. Coming up next on this list is this fragrance right here. It's called Light Blue Sun, and it's coming out of the house of Dolce & Gabbana. And of course, this is a flanker to the original light blue fragrance. Now, I'm one of those people who like to rush out and get the flankers because I always feel as though they have something different to offer. Some of them, because some of them smell exactly like the original, which is not a big deal. They usually have something that separates them from the original. But this one is just, this is the first flanker I'm ever gonna have to declutter out of my collection. I'm just not getting that pretty vibe that I always get from the flankers. The dominant notes in this one are lemon and coconut. That coconut note can be very deceptive because when I think coconut, I'm thinking creamy. I'm just thinking something that smells like actual coconut. The good thing about this one is that it does last a little bit longer than the other flankers that came out, so that's a good thing. So if you like this fragrance, that's something that, you know, is positive. But in regards to the scent, this one just comes off as very generic and nothing special. Coming up next is this fragrance right here. It's coming out of the house of Izumiyaki, and this one is called L'Eau de Easy Pure, and this one is called Petale de Nectar. Very interesting fragrance. It opens up with a beautiful pear note. We also have honey, so the combination of those two notes in the top is very gorgeous, very beautiful. But right away, I do detect something a little strange. So when I first got this one, I was like, it smells pretty, but what is that little smell in the background? Like, what's going on here? So of course I did my homework and I saw that ambergris is in the base, and ambergris is responsible for what I'm smelling here, that scent that I just don't seem to like. The ambergris in here comes off very musky, very animalic. It's just very unrefined in here. I think Izumiyaki just wanted to step out of the box a little bit, give us something a little bit different, but I think it actually failed here. The ambergris completely ruined this scent, and it's just so sad. Coming up next is this fragrance right here. It's coming out of the house of Marc Jacobs, and this one is simply called Cotton. This is a beautiful scent. This fragrance is right on my alley. This is the kind of fragrance you'd wear when you just want to go simple. You don't want anything too complicated, anything too complex. It's a very straightforward, clean, citrusy, soapy scent. The issue that I have with this one is actually performance. Like, the performance here is just horrible. I thought about trying to layer it with oils, you know, try to moisturize the skin, but I really don't know if it's worth keeping at this point. So this is the reason why I'm getting rid of this one. I just can't justify keeping a fragrance in my collection that just does not last. Coming up next is another fragrance from the house of Marc Jacobs, and this is a flanker to the original Daisy fragrance, and this one is called Sorbet. The scent from this one is really pretty. It is not a bad scent at all. I don't know who would smell this and think it's a bad scent. It comes off very floral. It's a soft feminine floral scent. It's slightly sweet, so we do have a little bit of fruits in there. Definitely not overpowering. It does have a watery vibe also. The dominant note in here is definitely wisteria. Wisteria smells a little bit like lilacs, like that's the kind of vibe that it gives, but it comes off a little bit more green, I would say. The problem that I have with this fragrance is that it just doesn't project. It goes light in no time. It just does not develop. It doesn't turn into anything special. The fragrances within this line usually have a beautiful woodsy musky dry down, but here it just falls flat and it just is very underwhelming. So coming up next on this list is this fragrance right here. It's coming out of the house of Donna Karan, and this one is called Liquid Cashmere Aqua. So I haven't really seen anyone talking about this fragrance, and I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and give it a try, because I do love the original Cashmere Mist fragrance, which is a very sophisticated, soapy, musky, powdery scent. When I saw that this was an aqua scent, like an aquatic scent, I figured, okay, I would love to see what that smells like. Must be interesting to have the same powdery, soapy, musky scent with a little bit of an aquatic touch. Sometimes some notes just does not blend well together, and I think this is proof of that. I just cannot enjoy the combination of notes in this fragrance. The powder in here is very overpowering, and the aquatic note is very strong, and it's a little bit green. It's also a little bit masculine and very perfumey. So think about when you walk into a department store such as Macy's and you walk through that fragrance department and there has been a million fragrances being sprayed, and it just creates a very toxic cloud of fumes. That's exactly what I get from this. I just don't understand how this could have just went downhill. I'm definitely not enjoying this one here. I just can't. Coming up next on this list is Magnetism from the house of Escada. Every single time I wear this one, I always think to myself, why did I wear this one? On initial blast, you get all the beautiful notes. You get some sort of a sweet caramel scent. It smells a little bit smoky, and I do get some sort of green notes within the fragrance, which I love. This is the fragrance that I was supposed to love. The musk in here just goes a little bit musty on my skin. I don't know if anyone else experiences that. It's just such a shame, because the caramel notes, the fruity notes in here, along with that touch of greenness and the smokiness, is just to die for. But when it dries down, it just does not dry down well on my skin. So coming up next is this fragrance right here. It's from the KKW fragrance line, which is Kim Kardashian West's fragrance line. And when it just came out, I was really excited about it. I really wanted to try it. I really love the packaging. I like the whole marketing that went behind this fragrance. So I thought everything was just, you know, it was good. So of course I fell into the hype and I wanted to try this one out, so I did. While this is a pretty white floral scent, I believe we have tuberose, we have gardenia. So it's one of those fragrances very typical of what Kim Kardashian was making when she just came out with her fragrance line. But I just never wore this one after the initial wear. Like, it's a pleasant fragrance, but I think there's a reason why nobody talks about this one anymore. It just comes off a little bit boring, a little bit flat. We've seen this one done a million times. She's done it before with her original Kim Kardashian fragrance. It's not speaking to me anymore. It's a nice fragrance, and I mean, I don't know, there's nothing bad to say about it. It also didn't really perform as well as I thought it would have, but you know, it is what it is. I really don't see any reason right now for me to hold on to it. Fragrance that I recently picked up that I really wanted to like is this fragrance right here. It's called Red Jeans, and it's from the house of Versace, and I really wanted to like this fragrance. And when I smell it from the nozzle, it smells so good. Like, it really does. You get like a rosy, peachy type of scent. I believe we have apricot in here, so it's a little bit fruity too. It does have a very musky undertone, which I don't have a problem with because I really love musk. This one comes off a bit synthetic. It's synthetic to the point where it kind of gives me a sore throat, and that's usually how I know if a fragrance is a bit too synthetic for me, when it gives me that sort of like that scratchy sore throat type of feeling. So with some people, they get a headache when a fragrance is a little bit too much, and with me, I do get a sore throat. And this one, the couple of times that I've tried it, has given me a sore throat. A beautiful scent. The notes here are beautiful, but I think the problem that I have with this is more of the undertone. If you're looking into this fragrance, keep in mind that it does have a very 90s vibe. So if that's not your thing, definitely don't even consider this one. But if it sounds like something that you like, I mean, knock yourself out. It is not a bad fragrance at all, but when it dries down, it goes a little bit too synthetic. Coming up next is this fragrance right here. It's coming out of the house of Jean Paul Gaultier. This one is called Classique, and this is the EDT. This is a fragrance that pains my heart because it smells really good, but it just does not work on me. Or it could just be that this is just not my type of scent once it passes the opening. So this is a combination of a very soapy orange blossom and a very sweet oriental vanilla note. So we have some sort of clashing going on with this fragrance, but at the same time, I kind of feel like it does work. Where it does go a little bit bothersome for me is actually in the dry down. The vanilla here just comes off a little bit too, I would say, balmy, a little bit too oriental, and with the soapiness from the orange blossom, it just kind of like, I don't know, it became too much for me. So it becomes very warm, but at the same time, the orange blossom is there, still very soapy, still very fresh, and sometimes I feel as though the notes kind of clash. This is just a personal thing. Like, this is a beautiful fragrance. I could smell it, anyone could smell it. In my opinion, it does feel a little bit too mature for me. Like, even me that loves a good granny scent, this is a little bit too mature, and I'm not this kind of mature woman. Like, it doesn't feel like me when I'm wearing it, but it's a beautiful scent, and I know a lot of people probably really like this one. Okay guys, so that is it for me. Bye.